Hi, and welcome to Chamber Chat, a partnership between Western Oregon University, WIMPEG, and the Monmouth Independence Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Center, featuring our chamber members so the community can get to know them both professionally and personally. And joining me today is Emily Mentzer, who is a reporter with the Polk County Itemizer Observer. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, it is early March as we filmed this, so spring is starting to blossom as you're driving in.
Yeah.
So we'll start with what brought you to Polk County? Why work for the Itemizer Observer? Why cover Monmouth Independence, Polk County?
Well, my husband is retired from the Navy. He spent 20 years in the Navy. And after he retired, when we got married, he said, after we retire, I want to move back to Oregon, and he wanted to come back to this area because this is kind of where he grew up a little bit. His dad was here and his mom was in Milwaukee, so he spent some time in both places. And he wanted to come back here, and we specifically liked that Western was here so he could continue his education. And then as soon as we moved here, I wanted to work for the Itemizer Observer because that's our local newspaper, and I wanted to contribute to our coverage. And so I was very excited when a position opened up in 2013, and I was able to apply for it and go for it. So before that, I was working in Lebanon, and that's quite a commute. So I was really grateful to get the job that I really wanted, which was working here at the IO.
So had you previously worked for newspapers in other areas?
I have. I've worked for a newspaper up in Whidbey Island. I was a reporter there, and I also sold ads for them. So I got to see a little bit of a different side of the world. And then I majored in journalism at Humboldt State University, so I studied to be a reporter.
Right, and so you obviously like it here, and this is home now.
Yeah.
So since moving to Polk County, what would you say is something that really makes us unique in this area? What helps us separate ourselves from other places?
Well, I love just countywide, I'm a big fan of the wine industry. I love
I like the way you phrase that, a big fan of the wine industry.
A big fan of the wine industry, yes. I love the countryside and the farms. I love seeing all the different seasons, including what's going on the farms. I love the people and the small towns, because there's 4 different towns, and they all kind of have a different feel to them, and I really enjoy what each one has to offer.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to say that as well. Maybe quoting you on that at some point.
Right, that's fine.
So what would you say so far has been one of your greatest professional accomplishments?
Well, last year we went through some transition, and we kind of had a change in leadership, and it was really nice to be able to take the opportunity to do things like we redesigned the front page to try and make it more reader-friendly. And I really feel confident from the feedback I'm getting from our readers and from our communities that the whole tone of our newspaper has kind of changed a little bit, and I feel like I'm partly responsible for that. I've been able to provide a voice for Monmouth and Independence that I think we haven't really had before, and so that's really nice.
Well, as an example, the Monmouth Independence Chamber of Commerce, we have our annual awards banquet coming up tomorrow night, which is March 4th, and we've already announced our Junior Citizen Award winner, which you had a very nice article about Anton.
Oh, thank you.
Front page cover above the fold. And I saw he and his mom yesterday. They came out of the chamber office, and we had copies of the Itemizer Observer, and I was like, "Do you want these?" She's like, "Yes." And so she's very happy to be able to share that with her family in Madrid and it's going all over the place. So,
good.
But she was just really pleased and very happy about the article that you wrote, so well done.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for supporting our junior citizen.
Yeah, he's amazing. I interview our youth in the community, and I just feel really positive about our future as a human race. Because we've got some really great kids doing some really great things.
Yeah, just even reading the nominations this year for the Junior Citizen Award, there really are just amazing youth in our community. And then we look at our first citizen or distinguished service candidates, some really just amazing people in our community as a whole. So what would you say has been one of your greatest personal accomplishments?
Well, most recently, in November, I went and ran the Silver Falls Half Marathon, and that was a tough one. So I felt pretty good about myself after that. I thought, I don't even need to run anymore the rest of my life. And no, I do love running, but I was pretty proud of that because that was really tough to get through.
Was that your first half marathon, or just
No,
if that was this one?
It was just this one. It's my 4th half marathon, but Silver Falls is very hilly. A lot of ups and a lot of downs, and downhill's hard on your body too in a different way. but it was beautiful and amazing, and I'll probably do it again this year.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have another goal, like another track or course that you want to run?
I'd love to do the Timberline. They have a Timberline half marathon, and that's all downhill because it starts up at the lodge and ends at the bottom of the mountain. So that should be easy, right?
One would assume, but
You're just all downhill, just go for it.
definitely not going up the hill, though.
No, I'm sure there's lots of ups along the way, but that would be a fun one to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have a good time, or is it more for you just the finishing of the race, or are you really worried about your time?
I'm not worried about the time at all. I want to enjoy the run, so I keep whatever pace I feel like is comfortable and fun. And so I'm not a competitive, I need to get, I like to beat my time from the last one, but especially on this kind of race, it's my first trail race, and with the hills, I was like, I'm not even going to worry about a time for this. But next year, I'll try to beat my time from last year.
Okay. So you compete against yourself.
Right.
But not really against another person. All right.
Yeah.
So what would you say, now that you've been involved with I Might Observe for a number of years, you've come to a lot of chamber events and functions, what would you say has been one of your more favorable benefits of being a chamber member?
Well, I find that, and it will be different for me because but I find that it's the stories that I get through going to the events and the networking. So I meet the people behind my stories in a different kind of light, and I really enjoy that aspect of it, the ability to network with people and find new story ideas.
So what's been one of your favorite stories since you've started covering Monmouth Independence or Polk County? What's been one of your favorite that stands out?
That's a tough question.
Maybe anything about a certain person or a certain event that was happening, or?
I really enjoyed covering the story when Buzz Brazeau, our superintendent, got his driver's license to drive a bus, and he actually drove a bus route, and I went around with him on his bus route. Oh. That was really fun to listen to the kids. Is that Buzz Brazeau? What? And they were that was a fun one. So I think it's my favorite kind of stories to cover are ones that really highlight and tell someone else's story well.
And when Buzz got his driver or the bus permit, that definitely made some just the reactions people gave was quite interesting. Even I heard about it, and people were like, I heard the superintendent was driving a school bus, and I thought, why shouldn't he? You know, I mean, I haven't, but but what a great ability for him. It's like, yeah, I can drive a bus too, and
yes.
I can pitch in and help out, and
yeah,
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So really, the personal connections is
yes.
what you're really enjoying. As far as, I mean, obviously you cover the political aspects, what the cities are doing, and news items of that nature, but for you, it's more the personal connection with the people.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And even when I'm doing a political story, I'm trying to find the personal connection. How does this affect you? And why should you know what happened at City Council last night?
Right. Yeah, and with the two cities, with Monmouth Independence, and the city councils meet twice a month. I mean, that's
yes.
a lot of meetings.
It is. I will admit I don't actually make it to every one of them, but I do try. And then there's the school board meetings too, and.
It's a lot of meetings. And then I know you're often at the Monmouth Business Association meetings. You've come to the Independence Downtown Association meetings. You come to chamber functions. So you definitely have a very full schedule.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no normal 8 to 5 for you.
No. No. That's the wrong business to get into.
Exactly.
I think maybe for you too.
Yeah. Definitely some longer hours. So why journalism? When you were at Humboldt, why journalism? What struck you about journalism?
Well, I've always been a writer, and I've always loved to edit, and I had a friend ask me, what would you do if you could do it for 8 hours a day, all day for free, no paycheck? And I said I would write and edit, and he said, well, people make money doing that.
Sign me up.
And I thought, well, that's brilliant. And writing in journalism for me is so much easier because then I can tell your story, and your story is so much easier to tell than trying to make up my own story. So, and it's a guaranteed paycheck, whereas if I was a writer,
right. You have to get that successful book or article.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this the next blockbuster movie? Probably not. So I figured that's the best thing to do, and I love it. I wouldn't choose another choice.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So one last question. What is a skill or a hobby or an interest that you have that might surprise people?
I don't know if it would be surprising, but I love to quilt and do other kinds of crafty kind of work.
Okay.
So I have a craft room that's probably bigger than it needs to be. And a lot of crafts in process, you know, so when I have time, I work on any number of those.
All right. I do not have a craft room. I have never quilted, so congratulations on you being able to do that.
You know, if you ever feel like taking it up, let me know.
Okay, we can work on that. Well, Lee, thank you for being here and joining me on Chamber Chat. It was great
thank
having a little
you.
conversation with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. All right.
And welcome back to Chamber Chat. Joining me now is Kevin Rogers, who is the store manager at Roth's Fresh Markets. Thanks, Kevin, for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
So now, how long have you been in this community, and why did you choose this community?
Well, I've been at this location for 16 years in April, and previously I worked at the store on Portland Road in Salem,
Okay.
and they transferred me and promoted me up to this location
So 16 years here.
here.
Wow.
With Roth's in May, it'll be 41 years.
Oh, congratulations. 41 years with
Yeah.
one business, one
Yes,
company.
yep.
That is definitely not something you hear very often anymore. So what took you to Ross? Why did you start there almost 41 years ago?
Well, I was a junior in high school, and went and applied at the Lancaster store, and they put me on as a box boy. They hired me, and 41 years later, here I am. Moved up through the ranks and became a store manager 16 years ago.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So being around or with Ross for as long as you have been, what are some of the highlights of that business? I mean, what makes Ross so great?
Well, our niche is customer service, taking care of the customer, and that's what sets us apart from our competition. So that's what we aim for, and what we talk to all our new employees about is customer service.
And I know when I first moved out here, my husband and I moved from North Carolina several years ago, and I went to Ross, and there's a young man who was bagging the groceries, which is not uncommon, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you often get your. But then they actually asked me if I wanted help going out to the car. What?
Right.
Because I haven't heard that in a number of years since I was probably really small. And I thought, well, that's just cute, you know. And then, but no, you do it all the time.
Yeah,
Like
yes, we
people
do.
always are asking if you need
Yeah.
car assistance, and it just, it's nice.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
It's nice to know that still is around.
Yeah. That's our niche, is customer service and taking care of the customer.
Well, and I can definitely say, so right now we're filming this in early March, and we have our awards banquet actually tomorrow night. Roth's is once again one of our finalists, and for 3 years now we've done our awards online, so people can vote. The community is open to the full community to vote on the chamber members in the different categories as to who they think has done the most, like the best work, you know, outreach with the community and whatnot. So again, Ross is a finalist this year, and people have typed in some comments, and what they say about Ross just over and over is definitely customer service. They love the fact that if there's something that they're wanting that you may not carry, that you will, you know, get it.
Yes.
They like the fact that the staff is just friendly. It's not just the customer service, but it's always a warm greeting, and the store is clean, and you know, a nice variety of items. But yeah, so every year just people rave about Roth. So you definitely have a strong impact on our community.
Thank you. Yeah, we aim for that.
So what would you say in your almost 41 years with Ross, what's been one of your greatest professional accomplishments?
Just working through the ranks and becoming a store manager. It's 16 years ago I became a store manager, and I was pretty happy about that. I like working with people, and that's one of my favorite things to do, is working with people. I'm not in the grocery business, I'm in the people business.
Okay.
So
you just happen to sell groceries.
yeah, I happen to sell groceries.
So what did it take to become a store manager? What was it that they finally said, you know, here's your opportunity?
Well, just hard work and paying attention to the customer's needs and everything, and you just try to stand out, go the extra mile.
And then they noticed, and
Yeah,
here you
yeah,
are.
here I am. Yep.
So what would you say has been one of your greatest personal accomplishments?
Oh, becoming a grandfather twice.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So the grandkids are a lot of fun. So that's my family. I'm just proud of my family.
So how old are the grandkids?
Kyler's 15 and Jasmine's 10.
Okay, so definitely older. You can
Yeah,
not
yeah.
do a little bit more, perhaps,
Yeah, yeah.
more conversations and
Yeah, yeah.
really getting to know the person that they are now. And Okay, and
Yeah.
do they live locally?
Yeah, they live in West Salem.
Okay.
So
So that's nice, our family's
yeah.
close by.
Yeah, yeah. Most of my family lives in the Willamette Valley, so
All right.
we're pretty close.
My husband's family is like that back in North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
His mom was the oldest of 10, and most of those people live within, say, about an hour drive of one another, and yet we're in Oregon, so we don't quite fit that. But it's nice to go back, and it's easy to see people because they're
yes.
closely located.
Yeah.
What would you say, since you've been in the Monmouth Independence community now for 16 years as a store manager, what really helps separate Monmouth and Independence from other areas?
Well, before I came to Independence, I lived in Salem, and the small town life is just fantastic. I really like the small town life. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows everybody's kids. It's just great. I like the small town feel. I like that.
You know, I've actually used Ross as an example before. One night we were cooking dinner at home and we needed, I think it was like a pepper, something. So my husband's like, well, I'll just run up to Ross and get it. And he was gone and he was gone. I'm thinking, you know, Ross isn't that far from where we live. So he finally gets back, seriously, 30, 45 minutes later. Like, well, did you get the pepper? He's like, yeah. And when I read it, I saw so-and-so here, and then I saw someone else here, and then, you know, I think he saw you or Steve, you know, and then finally gets home, like, okay, well, let's continue cooking.
People go to the store and they see their friends and everything. And
Yeah, it's like a little social gathering.
Yes, yes.
So you've got some photos here, obviously, of Ross and some of the products that you sell. Do you know, like, what are some of the biggest selling items that you have?
Well, our produce is huge. Everybody raves about our produce department. I have a great produce manager, and having the freshest quality produce out there is great. Our bakery, they decorate cakes, and they can order cakes. And we have sushi, and that's very, very, people really like that sushi, especially our college students and high school students. It's amazing how many high school students buy our sushi. And in our fish case and meat case, that brings customers in too, because we have the freshest and nicest.
And I'll agree with all those statements. And so, talking about the high school students having open lunch, and the students obviously, and that was something my hometown had stopped doing that a number of decades ago. Another surprise when I moved out here, and I saw these students milling about. I'm like, shouldn't they be in school? I said, well, it's open. It's lunchtime, and so you do get a nice impact. Based on pure location, obviously, from the high school.
Yes, they have 2 lunches. They're a half hour apart, and we get quite a few kids that come in, and they eat at our deli quite regularly, and we get a lot of business from them. The nicer the weather, the more kids.
Of course.
So of course, they don't like the rain, coming out in the rain.
Right.
So.
And I can understand that one too.
Yeah.
And as far as Ross, you also just support the community a lot with. What are some of the ways that you support the
Well,
community?
we have the schoolhouse that's out in front of the store. People can donate their cans and bottles, and all that money goes right back into the high schools, grade schools, middle schools, and we help them out as much as we can. So it's people donate a lot of bottles to the store. It's amazing how much are donated. So.
And then at a nickel a piece, it
Nickel a
definitely
piece,
can add up,
yeah,
and it's free money basically for the schools.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's a great outreach right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Now, what would you say, and this is my favorite question that I get to ask, what is a skill or a hobby or an interest that you have that might surprise people?
Well, I love sports, and I like working in the yard. So
what's your favorite sport?
I like watching football, but I follow all sports.
Okay.
Football's about the only sport I really watch, but I follow all sports.
So do you have a preference of college football versus an NFL?
I like both. I like both sports.
And are you focused more on Pac-12 in college, or are you more?
Yeah, Pac-12. I've always pulled for the Pac-12.
Okay.
Seems like they don't get the respect that they should.
You know, and I will agree with that. You know, I'm more of still have some ties to the ACC, coming from North Carolina. But, you know, I do get a little tired of the SEC always being the dominant one, personally.
The SEC, ACC, and Big Ten, they get all the hype and everything, but Pac-10 doesn't. Pac-12 doesn't get what they deserve.
And I'll agree with that. Now that I've lived out here and been more familiar with it, I'll agree with that. So sports fan and working in the yard, some interests that you have.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and spend time with the family, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, thanks for chatting with me and being part of
Thank
Chamber
you.
Chat. It's been great getting to know you a
Like I
little bit
said,
better.
thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And welcome back to Chamber Chat. Joining me now is Angie Morris, who is the President and CEO of Travel Salem. Thanks, Angie, for being here.
So happy to be here.
So tell us a little bit about your role with Travel Salem and what Travel Salem does.
Very good question. Well, Travel Salem is a destination marketing organization. So our goal is to promote the Mid-Willamette Valley as a premier destination for visitors all over the world to come and see all the glorious things that we have to offer here. And I'm the president and CEO. I've been there about 9 years and just love it. And it's so diverse. It's so such a unique and complex industry. There's no day that looks the same. So,
No boredom.
no boredom, but that can be a challenge too because it's kind of exhausting. But it's just this destination is so amazing, and the industry is changing so dramatically that it's been exciting journey.
So I know since I started with the Monmouth Independence Chamber in April 2012, I've gone to several Travel Salem functions, some of your luncheons that you do, gotten to know Irene Bernards pretty well, and Dee and some of the others, and met you obviously several times. And it really is amazing the work that Travel Salem does. And I know it says Travel Salem, but you do a lot of outreach for Polk County as well. It's not just
Very
Marion
much.
County, but there is the outreach with Polk County. And that's one thing that I've wanted to make sure people know is that even though it says Travel Salem, it really is the Mid-Willamette Valley that you're working to promote.
That is correct.
And that's something I think some people may oversee or overlook sometimes.
Sure. Well, and Travel Salem, the reason that Salem is in the name of the organization and how we brand the destination is that we're looking at it from the visitor's perspective. And visitors are familiar with the capital city and that sort of thing, so it's a lure, and it's a way for us to kind of anchor the destination, but we certainly promote all of Polk County, all of Marion County, and even in some of our wine tourism, we're doing Yam Hill as well. But Polk County is an amazing agritourism destination with
Yes.
the wine country and recreation, and it's a jewel in our crown. We love promoting it, and visitors really do get out into the region and stay for a while because there's so much to do.
So what would you say in your 9 years of Travel Salem, what have been some of the bigger changes that you've noticed about the tourism industry?
Well, I would say what would strike me first is the technology side of social media and the whole marketing engine around that. And we've seen some social media channels come and go, others that have had a longer history. But that landscape is really difficult to manage because it is changing so rapidly, and how it has also changed the conversation from a marketing perspective. It used to be kind of the shotgun approach, and we'd target our messages to specific audiences, but social media allows you to talk directly to the consumer in a variety of different ways. So that's been kind of an interesting challenge, and really exciting, but I've seen that change a lot.
And as far as your website, you have the interactive map that you launched, I guess at this point, maybe 2 years ago?
Yes, very good. Yeah.
That it's great because people can actually go and see pictures of these places, they can read more about it, and it's an interactive map, so you can really control your own guiding of the available resources, if you will, in our area. And I know we've got several of places in Monmouth Independence, Polk County on the interactive map to help people know more about us, so that, again, it's not just the Marion County side of
That's
things,
right.
it's Polk County
That's
too.
right. Yeah, and the interactive online map is a neat resource for visitors because we wanted to be able to show them visually all of the diversity in the region. And hopefully, if they were planning to come for one day, try out a couple of things. If they see the diversity and how much there is to do, they'll say, oh, I actually probably need to stay a few days to do that. An interactive online map, so it shows it visually, but also by category. So if you want to go to farmers markets, or you want to go to cultural heritage sites, or wine trails, things like that, those are listed on there, and the consumer can kind of choose what they want to do and how they want to engage.
It's really easy to use. So the interactive map on Travel Salem's website is a great resource if you're looking for things to do in our area, and it's just very easy to use. So what would you say has been one of your greatest professional accomplishments?
Well, I don't know. There's a couple things. One of them from my past history in show business, I used to work for the Portland Opera, and I remember the first radio spot I wrote was about the opera Tosca. And I remember a patron calling into the box office saying, I'm a 55-year-old cowboy. I've never been to the opera before, but I heard that radio spot, and I got to come see what you guys are doing over there. And he came, and then he followed up with us and said it just changed my life. So that was a moment that I really remember.
Something you wrote had that kind of impact.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
just one person at a time, and that's kind of what it's all about. But also worked on developing the wine country license plate, which there's about 25,000 of those on the road right now. If you don't have one, go get one.
There's a photo of that.
There it is. That's Todd Davison, CEO of Travel Oregon, who helped us get that through. But that project was really about, it was a jobs bill, it was a tourism bill, it was about enhancing the tourism engine around the state of Oregon. And so it's doing really well, and those monies do come back to the region and help us promote Polk County.
And I do see the wine country license tags out there, and so they're more noticeable.
Oh yeah, there's more and more every day, about 500 more per month, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been one of your greatest personal accomplishments?
Well, obviously my children. I have two really amazing little people in my life. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, and teenagers don't scare me because my daughter's amazing. She's handling it with grace, thank goodness, although there's moments where I'm like, oh my God, what is this? But
That could be so much worse.
so much worse. But they're just amazing little people, and lift me up every day. And I do a lot of work in Africa as well. I have a couple of projects I'm working on there. That was in Tanzania at an orphanage that we were working with, and but I have two different projects. One in Tanzania, which is an entertainment-based project, and working with a Maasai tribe there, and another project in the Central Africa in Chad. And Chad is notably the poorest country in the world. A lot of challenges there. So I've been doing a micro-enterprise project there.
Wow.
To give hope and opportunity to folks there to do something great. So,
How did you get interested in the outreach to Africa?
well, actually, I went on an ambassadorial trip back in 2011 with Senator Winters and some students from Western Oregon University, actually. And that was a real life-changing experience for me, truly. And I kind of get goosebumps thinking about how my
Your
life
face
has
has
changed.
completely changed. You just have this huge glow right now.
Yeah, how my life has changed so much since then, in all in wonderful ways. But so that was my first foray into Africa, and then my boyfriend is from Central Africa.
Okay.
So he's from Chad, and so that's why we're doing the micro-enterprise work there.
And how often do you get to go to Africa?
Well, last year went 2 times. Hadn't been for a little while. But yeah, try to go back as often as possible. But travel, especially to the central part of Africa, is very dangerous right now. There's a lot of terrorist activity there. So
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking when you said Chad. I mean, it's not something you just can do every other month. I mean, there's a lot more
can't.
to it than just traveling. Like, I want to go to Paris. I can go to Paris.
Yes.
Or I want to go to London. I can go to London, but no, you're talking about a different part of the world.
Yeah, and even the international perspective of getting into a country like that has got its own challenges. I mean, you can go through Turkey, you can go through Ethiopia, you can go through different places like that. And each of those have their own challenges for actually surviving the journey and getting there. But it's definitely worth it. And I can't wait till I can take my own kids there someday to
What
show
an
them this
amazing
world.
experience that you get to have, and now your children will at some point, and then the impact that you're having on those lives. That's amazing. Thank you. That's why.
It's more about what they give back to me. I really believe that if I could have my way, every person in America would have a chance to go to Africa before they graduate from high school, because it really is, Africa is not what people think it is. It's perceived to be this place of disease and poverty and all of these things and need. And yes, certainly there is. Certainly there is, but it's very beautiful and enriching and something you'll never forget.
So with your own work experience with Travel Salem and marketing and tourism, maybe you could do some tourism for Africa.
You never know. You never know.
Together.
Little side hobby kind of thing. I love it too. I love it here too much to leave.
Right.
So.
So one last question.
Sure.
It's definitely the most one I have, and you we'll see. But do you have a special interest, a skill, or a hobby that would surprise people? I mean, maybe the African outreach would surprise people, but is there something else that would catch someone off guard? Like, really, Auntie does that?
I'm sure there's a lot of things people would say, oh my gosh, she does that. Let's see, I play soccer, competitive soccer on a co-ed team, which is a lot of fun.
Okay.
And been off of that for a couple months, just to be honest, transparency here, traveling too much, but love the game, love the sport. My kids also play, and love the outdoors, so love to hike, go out to Basket Slough all the time. That's my kind of secret little special place. It's not secret, but you know, I always feel special when I go there. I don't know, just love life, you know. Life is short, you got to really grab it and go.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for everything Travel Salem does for Polk County and for our area. We definitely appreciate that, and thank you for being here today. And
You guys are a
and chatting.
tremendous partner, tremendous partner. Thanks for everything you do as well.
Appreciate